What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Horizon Forbidden West's Burning Shores DLC. Now, I mainly want to touch upon the fact that it's only coming on PS5, but I do want to go through some of the small details that we know about it. There aren't many. A lot of the things they're going to give us, I think, over time, and really there isn't that much time in between the announcement and the release on April 19th, right? Just 4 months away. Not bad at all. And basically, the story is going to pick up where Forbidden West ended, if that wasn't obvious enough. New characters, adventures, and more. They said they'll share more with us, over the coming months. And then they say our creative vision for the Burning Shores is an ambitious expansion which will take Aloy to the ruins of LA. It's an overgrown and fractured city that can be fully explored via the water and flying on the back of a sunwing. A massive machine threat lurks in its shadows that we see in the trailer, a huge challenge that Aloy must overcome by using all of her skills and abilities. To achieve this grand vision technically and creatively, we've made the difficult decision to focus all our efforts on making an incredible experience exclusively on the PS5. Thank you, and see you later, basically. So it's tough because I can imagine people being upset. I don't know that actually for sure. I'm just kind of throwing that out there. I don't know if people are upset. I'm honestly not. Now, with that being said, I have a PS5. It's a lot easier for me to talk having a PS5 than if you have a PS4 and you loved Horizon, you got it on PS4, and you say, well, dang it, now I can't get the DLC unless I get a PS5. It's probably a lesser version of like when Final Fantasy VII did it, right, with the Intergrade DLC with Yuffie. That really made a lot of people upset. I feel like this one's different for one big reason, in that by the time this comes out, we're then almost 2.5 years into the PS5, and I understand it's still difficult to get the PS5, but it's time to start moving forward, and I think that's kind of the approach that they're taking. I buy their excuse, no joke, I really do. I feel like they probably could do it on PS4, but number one, they'd have to limit their reach of what they're trying to accomplish with this massive map and massive machine or whatever, right? So you'd have to minimize that. And I also feel like it would definitely take more time. I do believe, and I think there's kind of evidence to back this up, why certain games are being delayed, and we've seen this happen over the last couple of years, is because they have to make it for like 9 different consoles. And that's, I believe, a legitimate reason why some of these games are taking longer than they probably should, is that they still do need to make the, whether, PS4 and Xbox One holds games back or not, there's that whole argument. Whether or not that's true, I do think it holds it back in the sense that they have to make it for those, and that just takes time. It literally takes time. So I feel like kind of a mix of, they wanted to get it out roughly within a year. It's not even a year, actually. It's a year and 2 months, which is quite a stretch for DLC, right? So it's reasonably, close to the game. But in order to achieve that, in order to achieve the game being as big as it probably is, this DLC, they needed it to only be on PS5. So I honestly buy it, like in terms of believability, and I'm not super upset. Again, I will definitely concede I have a PS5, so it's easy for me to talk, but considering we're going into year 3 now, I feel like the goal and the push from PlayStation will be get people to get a PS5, and our games need to start moving from PS4 to PS5 only. We need to start getting on that, and that's what I believe is happening here. And it's also tough to kind of judge other aspects of it, right? Because there's no price, there's no length, so we don't really know any of those kind of details. If it's a $20, $25 thing, I think that's reasonable. Once you get into the 30, maybe 30 is reasonable to some, 35, 40, so we'll have to see how much money this actually is going to cost. But I mean, it looks absolutely beautiful. I loved Horizon Forbidden West. I know it was kind of a split game. Some people liked it, some people didn't gel with it. That's okay, but I really did enjoy it, and I'm looking for an excuse to jump back in, and the DLC is the excuse. And also, in terms of the PS4 to PS5 thing, remember, although Sony had to kind of get caught in their own words and people had to correct them, you do get that free upgrade. At least you did at the time. I hope that's still going on. So if you did have it for, because like this will become a bigger deal, right? If you have it for PS4, you should be able to get that upgrade to PS5 for free. And that would probably go a long way to making people feel good, because the worst possible thing that could happen is the DLC comes out, obviously only being on PS5, and then anybody who has a PS4, Sony like screws them over into having to buy the game a second time, right? Like if that were to happen, that would be very, very bad. And so I can't imagine that actually playing out that way. So that is at least the good news. The bad news is if you don't have a PS5 and you want the DLC, you're going to have to start searching. But if you trust their higher ups that have talked about the, shortages ending and you can get the PS5 again, it should be getting better right about now and into next year. So hopefully it's easier for people to get it. So there's my thoughts, and I'm definitely going to be covering it a lot more, obviously, as we get closer to the game releasing. And then when it does release, I'll, of course, cover it then as well. Let me know what you all think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I will see you all on the next video.